Skills lesson plan designs are exactly the same as any other lesson plan in terms of the various sections that we need to include. The difference lies in the content of the lesson plan. When looking at the timing for this example reading skills lesson, you'll notice right away that the two middle stages of the lesson are the longest, reading for detail and guessing vocabulary from context. These are the while reading stages of the lesson, hence why they are the longest. The pre-reading stage is quite short at just 10 minutes, and its aim is to activate learners' schemata on the topic of travel. This gets students thinking about language to do with the lesson topic. The pre-reading stage is a student-to-student interaction which can be done in pairs, or in breakout rooms for online classes. The next stage of the lesson is reading for gist. If you remember from the receptive skills module, reading for gist, or reading for global understanding, involves reading a text quickly to get a good general overview of what it's about. At this stage, the teacher introduces the authentic text by either showing it on the whiteboard or giving it to students as a handout or file. The teacher then asks a general question to make sure the learners have understood the overall topic. For example, they might ask, "What is the article about?" All reading lessons should start off by focusing on the general concept or topic of the text, before moving on to building a more detailed understanding. Therefore, reading for detail tasks come after gist reading. In this reading for detail task, there are some specific questions for learners to answer. They can scan the text to find the answers and write them down. In our example lesson plan, the answers are actually included to help the teacher during the lesson. This is quite a typical feature of a standard lesson plan. The last activity in the while reading part of the lesson is guessing vocabulary from context. This is a very typical reading activity, and it's great because it helps learners to build the skill of working out vocabulary they don't understand. The teacher highlights 5 difficult words from the text that the learners are not likely to know, and asks them to go back, read the text, and work them out. How can learners do this if they don't understand the language? Well, firstly, they can read the words and sentences around the unknown piece of vocabulary to understand the tone, tense, probable word class, and so on. The context should give learners a pretty good idea of what the word means, even if they don't work it out completely. In this example task, learners just have to guess the meanings, but this task is often done as a matching activity where learners have to match the vocabulary with its meaning from a list. Lastly, in this stage, learners speak with a partner, in a breakout room if the lesson is online, and discuss together what the vocabulary could mean. This is an important step because learners will help and guide each other, and the learning will be retained better than the teacher simply giving them the answer. The next stage is the post-reading stage of the class. In this example, there are some discussion questions that are related to the topic of the text. The aim of this stage is to get learners using language and vocabulary from the text, but also to try and extend their knowledge of the topic and retain everything they've learnt so far. The post-reading section of a skills class fulfills exactly the same purpose as the production stage of a PPP lesson. They both help learners to use the language they've learnt in the lesson naturally. Lastly, the filler stage. If there is time, or if some learners finish early, they can create their own questions based on the text. It's always good to have another activity in your back pocket just in case.